that is so cool. I wonder how I would look like as a doll.
I have a crazy idea. Today I'm collaborating with my friend Alyri and will turn her into a Succubus anime waifu doll. I've wanted to make a doll like this for so long, so how about we get started right away? So for those of you who don't know Alyri, she's a Twitch streamer, League of Legends challenger gamer, and yes, she's also drop dead gorgeous. So when we talked and came up with the idea of collaborating, I was stoked to turn her into a doll. I will be turning her into a little succubus because her VTuber model is also one, and it is also Halloween soon, so I wanted to already make a cool little monster girl. The body we are going to use is the body of a new doll Blue Pixie and I are working on right now, and we gave her a unique face, some additional accessories like wings, a tail and headphones. I will be making a video on the actual doll when I officially release her, so look forward to that. So with the files all done and sculpted, it is time to print them. I will need 2 full print beds on my Saturn printer plus 1 additional print for the tail. The first print will take about 4 hours now.
Alright, let's see if the print turned out. Everything seems to have printed. Yay! No!
I was so excited that I immediately dropped one piece, but all prints printed flawlessly so I could print, wash and cure them all under my curing station. And when I had all the little pieces, I had one big bowl of doll parts, ready to be assembled. I already installed some magnets in the doll so that her head holds together nicely. The torso is made of 3 parts for really nice posability. She also has double jointed hips, knees and elbows. I wanted to make sure that this doll will be a great poser, because it's the most satisfying thing to be able to pose the doll in the coolest poses. Her hands and feet are both magnetic as well. The doll itself is about 40 cm or almost 16 inches tall. My favorite doll height, not too big and not too small. We also printed her some headphones with horns because she's a succubus gamer girl after all. They fit perfectly. And of course her tail with a little heart-shaped tail tip. All the pieces look so nice together already, but to see how she actually looks like, let's string her. Stringing is a pain in the butt, but I decided to show it to you guys this time because I actually find it magical how some elastics and hooks make her posable. I thread the elastic through the arms with some wire and push some wooden sticks along the ends to make sure they stay secure. You know what also should stay secure? Your online presence. Thanks to today's sponsor Surfshark VPN, you can finally browse the internet safely and privately. Every time you log onto the interwebs, your information is just out there for everyone to look at or grab. Top 3 things you don't want grabbed from you. Number 1. Your bank account information. Number 2 and 3 don't matter. You really don't want your bank information be grabbed. Here's a scenario. You're traveling, you're using airport Wi-Fi. You know who else is using airport Wi-Fi? Burglars, filthy hackers. But with Surfshark, they can't even see that you're there. It's like you're invisible. Surfshark encrypts your online data and keeps you safe on public networks. Access your bank safely even on unsafe Wi-Fi. Pick that, hackers!
But Elisa, what else does Surfshark VPN do?
I'm just getting started. Are you also frustrated when you want to watch a show really bad just to see that it's not available in your area? Surfshark has got your back. One click and boom! You're in Mexico, for example. Your favorite anime is only available in Japan? Boom! You're in Japan now. You're welcome, by the way. Surfshark can do this by changing your IP address so that you appear as if you were located in a different country. With more than 3,200 servers in 95 countries, you will always find a server that fits your needs. Are you also annoyed with all the big corpos tracking you 24/7? You can now change your geographical location with GPS spoofing for Android, also thanks to Surfshark. And that's right, you can even get Surfshark on your phone. So if all of this information now made you feel personally and cybernetically attacked, I got the best deal for you. Get Surfshark VPN now at surfshark.deal/moonlightjewel and enter promo code moonlightjewel for 83% off, and you also get 3 extra months for free. That's surfshark.deal/moonlightjewel, promo code moonlightjewel. Thank you so much Surfshark for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to creating. When both arms were strong and the ends secured, I can then take some small S-hooks, hook them onto the elastic, thread the wrist joints onto the other hand of the S-hook and remove the wooden stick. I do the same on the other side, attach the hands, and the arms are strong. For the body, I take a longer and thicker elastic and start by threading it through the head plate, then through the upper torso, middle torso, lower torso, and there I split it into 2 loops to go through 1 leg each. I make sure they're even in length and then string the legs simultaneously. It is almost like threading beads on a necklace. Here just her feet are missing, so I did that off cam, and here's the doll all strung together. She's so gorgeous already, and I'm a big fan of her proportions. She could technically stand by herself, but since she has high heel feet, I had to use a doll stand for her. Thanks to her double jointed elbows, she can completely bend her arm towards her body, which I always think is a good feature on dolls. She can also kneel, but I kind of forgot to show that. With it all now prepared, I cannot wait to start working on the customization. Let's give her some clothes first and start with the bodysuit.
Okay, so I printed out these gradients onto some printable fabric vinyl, and I'm going to iron these on now to some fabric and then cut them out. Let's do that.
For the gradient on her bra, I will iron the cups that I printed on fabric vinyl to some cotton fabric. I peel off the vinyl from the base paper, place it on the fabric, protect it with some baking paper, and press it on. Afterwards, I wait for it to cool down and can then remove the baking paper. Looks good! I now just need to cut them out and they look like this. To sew the darts of the cups, I fold them over like this and carefully sew the dart finished sides in. After sewing the cups it looks great, so we can now cut the upper seam allowance into some notches and carefully glue them around with my favorite Uwu glue. I usually apply the glue and let it get a bit tacky before pressing the seams together for a better hold. To be able to attach the cups onto the bodysuit, we need, well, the bodysuit itself, right? So I will first be cleaning up the seam allowance on the front piece with some seam tape. I actually cut the bodysuit from thin black tights. It worked, but I wouldn't recommend it because the fabric kept rolling itself together and was a Dark Souls level of handling. Once I cleaned up the front seam though, I could carefully pin the cups onto the top seam. I very carefully attached them finished sides in. I'm sure you can also glue them in, that would have probably been easier. I sew in both cups and end up with something like this. Now I can take some black satin ribbons and glue them onto the bodysuit so that the cups have the exact correct distance towards each other. I glue 2 ribbons and let them cross each other. After that I also added some satin ribbons below the bra cups and along the front opening to make it look even nicer and also give the whole suit a little more stability. I very slowly and carefully press them on and snip off any excess. With that, the front piece is done so far, so let's hem those tiny darts on the back piece. They are rhombus shaped, so I sew them like a triangle.
As you can see, I'm sewing this with paper again because this fabric is so thin. It would literally not work if I would not sew this with paper. So yeah, I'm sewing this right now and then let's see how it looks like.
Sewing with paper really is a lifesaver with small flimsy clothing pieces. You can just remove the paper afterwards and it turned out really nice. With both back pieces prepared, I can now attach them to the front piece of the bodysuit by pinning them on finished sides in. Ah, it looks so great! I then pin the back seam until the opening as well, good sides in, and hem it too. Now it's just the crotch seam missing, so I align both pieces and hem them as well. To clean up all the seam allowances, I will be using seam tape again and carefully iron around all the seam allowances along the leg openings first. And then I also iron on some seam tape along the top seam allowance of the bodysuit and fold it around carefully, melting the fabric sides together. And the result is fantastic. Yes! Now just the finishing touches on the bodysuit are missing. I first glue on the shoulder straps onto the top part of the bra cups. They will be laced around the neck later on. Then I attach a strap along the hips and will do that on the other side as well. And then I finish up the straps on the bodysuit with some additional detail strap along the waistline. The bra cups have a little bat wing shaped design that I cut from some shiny pleather twice and will now connect both pieces with a tiny metal ring. And then I simply take the whole thing and very carefully glue it on top of the bra cups.
This really gives it a finishing touch on the bra and looks so cool. To finish up the bodysuit, I just add some small little pink hearts to it. And with the closure added, the bodysuit is done and I really like it. I barely ever make lingerie like this, and honestly it's much harder to make than a top part or pants, but I really like how it came out. I want to make more stuff like that in the future. When making the Batwing detail, I really felt like making her a little skirt out of the same fabric, so I first cut a little waistband from it and will now cut some notches into the upper seam allowance, so it will be easier for me to glue it around. And then using my Uhu glue again, I carefully glue the seam allowance around. While the waistband is drying, I'm taking a long strip of fabric and also will glue around the bottom seam allowance first, so it's nice and clean. I also pull a gathering thread through it and now need to gather the super long stripe to the length of the waistband. I join the waistband and skirt in the center middle and then clip the fabric finished sides in. Since you can see every needle hole on this fabric, you want to avoid using needles when possible. When everything is clipped together, I can then sew it carefully, good sides in. And afterwards it looks like this and it's just so cute. Now there's only a little closure missing and I added that off cam. I really love this fabric. Fun fact, I used an old pair of pants to harvest this fabric. I bought them but never once wore them and now they serve an amazing new cause. Last clothing piece that is missing are the stockings with the little succubus horns. To make these I cut the design that I made in Illustrator out of some shiny black sticky vinyl and just weed it out. Then I remove one horn, place its sticky sides up, spray it with water and attach the mirror piece on top of it. I then just repeat the process 3 more times. Now I can use the tights fabric again and first cut out the stocking shape roughly. Then, using some seam tape again, I will be gluing around the upper seam allowance. The great thing is that thanks to the seam tape, the seam will stay elastic. Once the upper seam is nice and clean, I then pin and sew the fabric by placing the pattern piece on top of the fabric and sewing it along the pattern line for maximum accuracy. I also place a paper underneath, of course, so that the sewing machine doesn't turn into the Cookie Monster. I then just need to remove the paper again and can carefully cut back the seam allowance and also any long threads. Now just the horns are missing. To place them more easily, I put the stockings onto the doll legs and then attach the horns with a small amount of glue onto the top part of the stockings. And with that we have some very unique little succubus stockings. I wasn't sure how the design would translate into reality, but they turned out absolutely amazing and I'm very happy with them. Let's give her some shiny black high heels, shall we? I'm so happy that Blue could manage to whip out these beautiful resin heels, so I first paint them black with magic. They're beautiful but not shiny yet. For that I will be using some UV nail varnish. I attached the shoe onto a little cardboard with blue tack and then use my UV gloss and spread it nice and evenly along the whole shoe. I make sure to take my time with it because we want the most even coating possible. And then it's time to cure them under the UV lamp for a couple minutes. When the shoe was done, I can take it out, remove the blue tack and we have a perfect shoe. 2 actually, because I made the second one off cam already. And I also did a dance with the shoes for some reason and we have another mirror moment. And yeah, I love these high heels and not gonna lie, I wish these would fit me so I could never wear them. Just when I was done with the shoes, however, I received a surprise package from Autofull. They sent me their Sanrio collab cinema roll chair to unbox and show to you guys, so why don't we open it up and assemble it together? The box is already so darn cute with a big cute cinema roll on it. And seeing me and my boyfriend opening the package, you could actually see how big the box was. Our little dog really wanted to steal the show here, but also she wanted to help assembling the chair, I think. The box contained a lot of stuff and also a detailed assembling instructions book. I didn't know a chair could have that many pieces. But here's the main event.
Oh my god! Look at that!
It is so cute. How can it get any cuter?
Oh my god!
Yeah, you heard that.
She loves it.
Oh! What's that? Okay, from now on, I will wear this every day.
It's plush.
Plush!
It's also plush.
So yeah, my boyfriend was so kind and helped me with the assembling because the chair is actually quite heavy and sturdy, and I'm also not very good with assembling instructions because I have zero patience. It was, however, actually easier than I thought to assemble it, thanks to the instructions. We're done.
Chair done.
Chair
You
done.
Can sit here, please.
I can sit there, exactly. And we also just had a lot of fun assembling the chair. Joe.
Holding it firmly so I don't drop it on the floor.
Yeah. What is Joe doing? What are you doing?
Pressing it in firmly.
She really wants to help, but also she really wants to cuddle. Here we are putting the chair pieces together, and my dog is just so cute and patiently waiting for us. With united powers we were able to put the chair together, and it is honestly so gorgeous and perfect for video editing. I'm sitting in it right now and I have never been more comfortable while editing. Thank you so much, Autofull. I adore this chair, the design, the comfort, everything. Thank you so much for sending me this one. But let me show you how I sit in it. That's not what I wanted, but she did it anyways. She loves the chair too. Oi. Okay, good night. Alright, let's continue on the doll and dye some hair. For Alyri's typical gradient bangs, I mixed up some purple and pink hair dye and also will use this light blue hair dye. I still had some white fiber laying around unused since ages, so it was finally time to use it. For the dye job, and due to running low on time, my boyfriend's brother, who was visiting us, kindly helped me out here by applying the hair dyes. They looked so pretty already, and the whole studio smelled like bubblegum because of the amazing smells of the hair dyes and the conditioner. When the hair was then all washed, dried and turned into wefts, it turned out incredible. We dyed all the rest of the hair black as well, and I'm so happy with the result. Now we can finally make the wig. I prepared the wig cap off cam and already drew some markings as a guide for gluing the wefts. And then I start on the back of the hair and glue the wefts layer by layer until the markings on the cap. I will give her some pigtails with open hair, so I could almost completely finish off the front of the wig, and also already add the gradient strands to the front of the wig. And then for the pigtails I take a bigger weft, apply glue on it, roll it together, creating a pigtail. And then I simply glue it onto the marking on the wig cap, and I also took a little rubber band and secured the pigtail in place. Then I could place the final weft layer for the parting line on top of the wig, glue it in the opposite direction and fold it over to create a clean line. With some heat from my mini hair iron I can tame it down in place. And then I glue the other part of the wig in opposite direction as well, fold it over and also secure it with some heat. For the front pieces I snip the wig cap slightly open first. And then I insert the front wefts into the slit and glue them on from the inside. I do that with both sides of the wig parting line, glue the wig cap back together, and we have an amazing and beautiful clean wig. I'm beyond happy with this wig, and thanks to the wig the doll already looks so much like Alyri. But honestly, this hair is absolute gold, and the wig is just so soft. I love that her little ears peek through it. Aww. Okay, let's paint her face, shall we? As always, I start by adding some micro glitter to her face to give the skin some nice glow. Then, using some cute pink shades, I'm adding a bunch of blushing to the face and nose area to really give her a blushed expression. I also added a bit of blushing to the tip of her ears. When I'm happy with the blushing so far, I then start to add some deeper pink shades to her lips to give them a pretty color. Applying lip shading like this always makes it look so natural and cute. Here you can see I already started to sketch out the eye lines, and sadly I did not realize that my cam did not focus the sketching process at all, so I only have some in-between sharp shots between a bunch of blurry footage. I'm sorry. The sketched eye looks really cute though. And when both eyes were sketched and I also added a thin line to her mouth, I can then start lining the eyes with a brush. This time I decided to use brown paint instead of black because black looks very harsh a lot of times and I wanted her expression to be cuter, and I'm very happy I chose brown. Also, this is oddly my favorite part of the face up. Adding these lines is difficult, but holy heck, it's so satisfying as well. Of course, I also line those small lower lashes for a complete look, and I like the softness of the brown so much.
The difference between the sketch and the clean lines.
I'm so glad it looks so good. Seeing the before and after is always such a difference, wow. Now just lining the second eye is missing. When it was done, the color is still a bit flat, so I used some dark brown and a tiny bit of black pastels to give the eyeliner some shading. And that really made such a difference and was so satisfying to add. Look at that! Wow. I'm taking a very dark brown to line her eyebrows as well. And then it is time for the pearly glamour shimmers that give the face up such a magical glow. I'm using a unicorn micro glitter powder for that. I applied to both cheeks, the tip of the nose, and a tiny amount to the forehead as well. I last minute also added little white hearts to her cheeks because why not? And then it is time to gloss over the cute little lips with my Liquitex High Gloss Varnish. And while we're at it, I also add some gloss to the waterline. Face done, let's make some eyes. I'm using the 14mm mold on my half sphere silicone mold and first put a small amount of UV resin in it. Then I sprinkle some glitter into the resin and add these purple anime eyes that I made on my iPad and printed out on cardstock to the eye mold. I put it into my UV lamp and let it cure for around 90 seconds. After it was cured, I then pour white UV resin I mixed with some resin pigments on top of the eye. Any bubbles can be removed with a lighter. And then I put it into the lamp again for 3 to 4 minutes. Eye is done! Let's see how it looks like. Oh yes, it turned out perfectly. I then simply made a second eye the same way, and with that we have two perfect sweet anime eyes. I was so happy I danced apparently.
Don't ask why.
And this is how she looks like with the eyes in. I love the purple of the eyes in combination with her pink blushing so much. Oh my god. Okay, just a few more things are missing. To paint her headphones, I will first add some light purple to the stripes on the horns and the sides of the headphones. I do that to both sides and added I think around 4 layers in total for complete opacity. And then I just need to paint the rest black while my cam died and ended up with some perfectly painted headphones. I also sealed them with MSC to prevent any chipping. I will paint her tail with the same matte black acrylic paint. It was a bit tricky to make sure all parts are painted, but I made it work. Now just the wings are missing.
Okay, the initial wings turned out to be way too big and way too heavy. They do not hold, especially not with these small magnets. So Pixie and I talked again, and she made the suggestion to make a little beam in the middle with the 2 magnets, and they are also a lot smaller now, but they look amazing and yeah, perfect. We can paint these now.
For the wings I will start painting the skin parts. They have a gradient from pink to light blue like the hair, and I hope I can make it work. So I'm painting the skin completely light blue with acrylic paint first. And after applying multiple layers, I then use my pink pastels to add the gradient. I was so glad that it actually worked because I really did not want to use my airbrush. I have somewhat of a difficult relationship with my airbrush gun. But also I think it's a great alternative if you do not own an airbrush gun. It took some time, but it was so much fun to add the gradients. Here's how the wings looked when all the gradients were done. I sealed the gradients with Mr. Super Clear and can now paint the little claws on the wings white. I used my white Posca marker ink for that because it is so nice and opaque. And then just the black is missing and you can see me here finishing up the last parts of it. I'm so happy how the wings turned out. I kinda wanna make more winged dolls now. In the end, I added some dusty micro glitter to the wings for a finishing touch. I also really last minute decided to give her long demonic nails because I felt something was still missing from her. And I think with that we are done. Are you ready for some demon anime waifu action? And here's my anime Alyri Succubus waifu. I had so much fun making her and I kinda wanna make more monster girl waifus now. I also really hope Alyri loves this doll as well because she's going on a big journey to her soon. How do you like her and what's your favorite monster girl? Let me know in the comments below. And also thanks to all of my supporters over on Patreon for your continuous support. You guys are true chads and absolute heroes. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video and have a beautiful, seductive day. Bye!